Hey people, Tricky Acid here, and have you ever played a 2D side-scroller merged together with a top-down platformer? Because this brings me to Toodee and Topdee, a side-scrolling top-down puzzle platforming hybrid. It's like the developers decided to take these two genres and shove them in a blender and make a delicious and nutritious platforming smoothie out of it, and well, that gives you Toodee and Topdee. Solving puzzles to get through levels, and taking on evil genies that would rather kill you than grant you any wishes, or even a giant evil pink-haired monkey that wants to crush you with his ass. The whole idea about this game is based around the creation of a new universe with multiple worlds that were all kept in harmony thanks to the magical semicolon, which essentially acts like the sun. Unfortunately, the semicolon has gone missing and has created glitches around the universe as well as total havoc. So this is where you, Toodee and Topdee, would come in by switching between the 2D side-scrolling or top-down dimensions. You're set out to find the missing semicolon and restore harmony back to the universe. And yes, for all you programmers out there, I'm sure you'll be able to relate how a semicolon can be one of the most crucial components when you code, and this game will have some nice references to coders in general. The very first level, in fact, is called Hello World, which for anyone learning to code will be very familiar with, as it probably would have been your first ever program. But enough with the coding talk. The premise of the game is based on switching out between the two characters to solve puzzles, avoid enemies, and take down enemy bosses. It reminded me of the game called It Takes Two, where you would need to switch out between both characters in order to progress, and it was great to see Toodee and Topdee was given a co-op mode to make the experience a lot more enjoyable. But it goes without saying, co-op always makes any game better. But playing this solo was still fun. But I played this title for the most part with one of my friends, and me and him had a pretty good time figuring out puzzles together, goofing around a bit, and I think having the dynamic of two friends playing their role in the game is always great.
Can you move me up? Oh no, wait, you can't, because I'm stuck here. Hold on.
Jump.
That was bad.
That being said, it's local co-op, so we had to play using Parsec, a free service that allows you to stream your game and let others play with you remotely. By the way, I'm not sponsored by them, but I thought I'd just share how we managed to play together. And I think in this day and age, if your game is to have co-op, then online co-op should be mandatory by any standards right now. But maybe we'll see that in a future update. But nonetheless, we had a lot of fun, boss fights having multiple stages to them, each being more difficult than the last, but once you learn the patterns and well, get good, you'll get through it. It sort of reminded me of Cuphead with the level of difficulty sometimes, but it's nice to play a game that has some challenge involved. However, if it gets too much, you can easily adjust the difficulty by giving yourself extra health and perks to get through. And I love the level of dry humor tossed in there as well, so it's always fun to see what the characters have to say. Control wise, by default, I originally decided to play using the keyboard, and instead of using the traditional WASD keys for any PC gamer, by default your movement is by using the arrow keys and Z and X for jumping, or switching between the two dimensions to switch out the characters, which makes sense, but it just didn't work for me. So I decided to tweak the controls, but regardless of how much I tweaked them, playing this game using a keyboard just didn't work for me. There were times where timing was very crucial and I wasn't fast enough to perform certain actions using the keyboard. It was just very awkward. So I switched to the Xbox controller and the difference was huge, for me at least. It played so much better using a controller, so at least based off my experience, use a controller if you can, as I think the keyboard just makes playing this a bit tedious, especially when having to switch out between characters and getting the timing right on some challenges. But all in all, Diet Zribby have done a great job with Toodee and Topdee. It's available on Steam for PC if you wish to download it and have some puzzle platforming fun. And yeah, it gets my approval. The rise of indie games is rising substantially, and I love supporting these studios. But that sums up my review. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed it, please give a like as it really helps me out. Subscribe as well if you're new, and I'll catch you all next time.